you should not pursue your idea. And the reason I say that is because there's nowhere else in the world you can go to pitch a napkin idea. There's no environment for that. So we are more inclined to say yes than to say no. But if we say no, it's because we really just don't think it's viable, or it's just too difficult. Like, it's gonna be too difficult to get there. Find a simpler thing to pursue. But if and when we do say yes, we then end up co-founding a company with that entrepreneur. And within 60 to 90 days, we will launch what we call a minimum viable company, which means that we can onboard users and start generating cash flow with a fanatical focus on achieving product market fit within 90 days, which we define as $10,000 of monthly recurring revenue. It's not a lot of money, but in early stage tech, it's all the money in the world, because once you achieve that milestone, you can raise capital, get strategic alliances, build a board of directors, et cetera. So it's a very linear path. Every entrepreneur travels the exact same path. It's predictable, and that's also why it works.
Degrees with a Lava Hot podcast and host Joseph Connell Jr. You'll hear from ordinary people who are doing extraordinary things, from tech startup CEOs and marketing professionals to authors, investors, and sales trainers. This show will be packed with information to help you level up in life or business, taking you from on fire up to lava hot. Get ready to burn this mother down.
Hello and welcome to the Lava Hot Podcast. I'm your host, Joseph Connell. I have a question for you. Have you ever thought to yourself, I have the next big idea when it comes to tech, when it comes to any sort of application? Well, the individual that I have on the show today is on a mission to build, scale, and sell 10,000 tech companies in the next 10 years through his company and his mission, Project 10K. He's partnered with some of the biggest names in the space of digital marketing, in some of the influencer spaces, individuals like Grant Cardone with the 10X Incubator. Some of the guests that I've actually had on this show have actually worked with Jared in helping bring their ideas to fruition. But I want to just dive right into it, start asking this individual some questions. Me being a guy that has a SaaS background, working with a lot of local to mid-sized companies, I really felt like he would bring a ton of value in terms of what you could start integrating into your business. But if you also have an idea, he definitely seemed like the guy who would be able to take that idea and bring it to market. Just a couple of other things that I find notable. One of his bigger companies that he's launched is a company called Synduit, where he supports over 40,000 small business owners. That's near and dear to my heart. In addition to that, he's also a father of two. From what he just told me, it's about to be three, and a husband of one. Jared, welcome to the show.
Great to be here, man. Thank you so much. I love what you're doing. I love how consistent you are with it. And I'm an open book, Joseph. So ask me anything. I just want to create value for your group.
Yes, sir. You know, I had the pleasure of seeing you come down and present when I was at the 10X headquarters back in November of 2021. And I have a SaaS background, so I worked in a company. You may be familiar with it. It's a company called Thrive. And, you know, they support local to mid-sized companies. And just having that background, it's always good to see somebody that's in the space of being able to bring applications to the marketplace, something that supports business owners. I think for that group, I probably had a little bit better of an understanding of what it is that you do. And I was very excited when my wife told me that she booked you. I was like, no way, you got Jared Yellin on the show. I'm pretty pumped about that. I've had two of your, I don't know if you call them partners.
Co-founders. Yeah, co-founders.
I guess co-founders on the show so far. 2 guests, 3 total applications. In fact, one of the guests I had on last week, Robert Anderson with Libertas, an application that I'm pretty excited for, just listening to the capabilities, the things that it's going to be able to do, the type of reach, the type of connection that it will have in the marketplace. And then certainly have seen what you've been doing with Mike Sirocco with Blueprinted and Tipperosity. That's something, he's local to my town, so I get to see that quite often. But let me ask, I want to, you seem to be a guy that may be ahead of the curve in terms of what type of technology is coming, what type of technology business owners should be incorporating into their business right now. I was hoping you could kind of shed some light on, what type of companies you have currently that help and support business owners, but what type of technology should business owners really start considering incorporating into their business?
Yeah, so it's to me, I'm all about fundamentals. So I think one of the challenges that most small business owners face is that they have shiny object syndrome. So as a byproduct, it's why they always stay small, because they always think there's something other than what they have that's going to be the thing. And then as a byproduct, they don't commit to anything long enough. So there's really only two utilities that every single small business owner needs, which is some type of tool to track your leads and your clients and your customers. So some form of a CRM. It could be industry specific, and it also could just be industry agnostic, but some mechanism of keeping track of everything. And then the other thing is some form of project management software, so that if you do have a team, even if it's a team of one, you and one other person, or even if it's just you have some type of project management software to keep track of all the different tasks, all the different responsibilities that you have, so nothing falls through the cracks. Those are the two absolute utilities that every single business needs. So one of the things, like I said, is that business owners don't grow. Small business owners stay small because they think they need something other than what they actually deliver to the world. Just keep it simple. Keep it really simple.
Okay, very cool. For an individual, let's say they're just starting a business and they're starting to, maybe get their website and set up their social media. And now they're hearing this concept of a CRM or a customer relations management system. What are some of the things that you would recommend? Hey, look, when you go through that process of setting up a CRM, these are the main things that you want to look for. Something that can maybe catalog, dive into like, what are some of the core things they should consider when choosing a CRM? Because there's thousands of them out there.
Yeah, so if there's one specific to your industry, I would recommend finding the one that's specific to your industry, because there's probably specific workflows that are built into it by people that know your industry. So that'll be a shortcut for you when it comes to getting set up. If there's not one specific to your industry, you want to find one that's pretty basic and simple to set up, because many people sign up for these platforms and it takes them months or longer to even get started. And that's a waste of resources. So you want to find one that's really simple, that you can get onboarded quickly, and then start setting it up so that it allows there to be automation within your business. So when you have a lead that does something specific, there's something that is sent to that lead through email or through text message. So start really thinking through the journey of your lead to your customer, client, or patient, to them starting to refer business to you. Like, think through every single step in that journey, and then start building that journey inside of whatever technology that you're using, so that you can create automation. Because if you can create automation, you can really start to scale your business.
Very cool. Out of curiosity, is that what Synduit does? Is that the same thing there?
Yeah, so Synduit is what we call a virtual marketing department. It's the simplest marketing software that exists for small business owners, because we build in content and workflows across 30 different industries. So what we found, and the thesis of Synduit, was that the everyday small business owner doesn't have the financial capacity or ability to grow to justify hiring a marketing agency, but they need a marketing agency, or they are going to be the best kept secret in their community. So we built Synduit to solve for that. So for $50 a month, it's like getting a marketing agency, and you're able to log into this very simple platform. There's a library of completely done for you marketing campaigns across 30 different industries, everything from local workshops you can offer to webinars, to client or patient appreciation experiences, to referral programs, to newsletters, to social media blitzes, to online challenges, to email sequences, to texting sequences that are completely done for you by a team of experts. And you just pick and choose the campaigns that matter to you and align with your values. And the outcome is that within 60 minutes, you're able to build and implement a 12-month marketing plan. So we literally save small business owners hundreds and hundreds of hours of content creation and setting up campaigns in whatever platform they would use inside this very simple software.
Wow. Yeah, no, just how you described that, me being a guy that has a SaaS background, where, a CRM was, a certain portion of their product offer. It was in no way in comparison to what you just said.
Yeah, we made it really simple. I realized, I built this because my stepfather, he's a chiropractor. He's an amazing chiropractor in New Jersey. And he's also the best kept secret because it doesn't market consistently enough. But the reason it doesn't market consistently enough is because he can't justify hiring a marketing agency for $5,000 a month because he can't even handle that kind of growth in his office. So like, it's not even that the economics are the issue. It's the fact that to justify that, he needs to take on an additional 10 to 12 new patients every month, and he just literally can't handle it. He doesn't want to handle it. He's in his 60s. He's at the last chapter of his career, but he does want to be known and he wants to educate more people. So when we built this platform, he was the person that tested it because I said to myself, if I can enable him to market on a consistent basis, we could change the world for small business owners. And that's exactly what we've accomplished.
Very cool. So somebody goes to the website, they sign up for the program. Is this something that is maybe there's some code that gets added to their website to try to like sync that all together? How does that work exactly?
It doesn't have to. A lot of the small business owners we work with don't even have a website. So they use our platform as a mechanism to start collecting leads. So it just depends on how advanced they are. But yes, they can do that and they don't have to do that. The onboarding process is less than 5 minutes. And then they're able to launch their first campaign. So that means they can go in and pick a workshop or a webinar that they want to start teaching, or a social media blitz that has anywhere from a handful of posts to hundreds and hundreds of posts that get pre-scheduled for them. They could pick an email sequence or a newsletter campaign. So our end users traditionally within 30 minutes, they're going from signing up to launching at least a month, if not even months worth of content inside of the software.
Wow. To tell you how excited I am for this episode to get wrapped up, just so that I can go to the website and look at it, it'd be an understatement to say that I'm excited, because, you know, being a guy that works with local to mid-sized companies, what you're talking about, I see all the time. In fact, you know, the way that I've structured, you know, my business is to be almost in essence, I mean, our tagline is your outsourced marketing department. So Lava Hot, and, you know, the name of the podcast is actually named after my business, which is Lava Hot, your outsourced marketing department. And what I saw is the same thing you're talking about, that most local to mid-sized companies, they do need a marketing department of some degree. And it can be very costly, you know, to try to hire on a marketing director at, you know, 40, 50, 60,000 a year. You're absolutely right. But this technology seems like it would be great for me as a support for what I do, because every client I have has the same thing where they need to, one, integrate some automation into their business, but also the challenge of coming up with content, you know, for most local to mid-sized companies can be very difficult. So to have automated stuff that's put together and scheduled out for as much as a year would be incredible, you know. Especially, is there any sort of way to like customize the posts that would be scheduled to go out?
Yeah, people can customize it as little or as much as they want. So if you're in a mad dash, you can spend seconds. And if you have a little bit of extra time, you could spend minutes or hours. So everything is fully customizable, and it's also completely done for you. So it's more up to the end user and how they want to use the platform and the content.
Okay. So on done for you, is that something that's automated within the system, or is there any sort of like campaign managers that get associated to it?
All in the system. Yeah, this platform is a 65-year-old chiropractor can master it. It is as simple.
Very cool.
Yeah, we've spent an enormous amount of time ensuring that everyday small business owners that are masters of their craft, but they hate technology and marketing is overwhelming to them, are able to thrive in this platform.
I love it. Now, on the project management side, because I know you mentioned that as well, does it also handle that capability as well?
No, it's not a project management software. So one of the things I'll educate your audience on is that if you do have a tech idea, one of the things that we've seen is many people come to Project 10K and they pitch these all-in-one solutions. And what all-in-one actually means is that you're not good at any one thing. And there is no all-in-one solution in the world that is strong in all areas. And if anything, they're actually weak in every single area, because there's individual SaaS platforms that just do one thing, and they do that one thing exceptionally well. So if you think about online scheduling as an example, Calendly is a better platform than HubSpot, and HubSpot has an online scheduling software, but that's all that Calendly does. So how could HubSpot compete against Calendly when that's just one of hundreds and hundreds of features that HubSpot offers? So one of the things I always encourage any visionary entrepreneur that has an idea that want to become a tech founder is focus on solving one specific thing. The moment you try for 2, both are going to be weak. When you go for 3, all 3 are going to suffer, and you're never going to get there because it gets really expensive as you start trying to solve more problems for your end user. Start with one specific thing that people are willing to pay for, and then start scaling that one thing, and then start making decisions on the next chapter of that business.
Very cool. So I feels like a really good segue, because I did want to start asking some questions in regards to that. So if somebody, they have an idea and they want to, see what this Project 10K is all about, what's the process there? Like, how do they go about, submitting an idea?
Yeah, it's a fun process. I'm sure everybody that listens to this or watches this, you're familiar with Shark Tank, and you probably have pictured yourself going into the tank, right? You picture yourself walking down the hallway and this big idea. You got Mark Cuban there, you got Barbara Corcoran there, you got Robert Herjavec there. You're like, I'm in my moment. Well, it's exactly like that, but it's virtual so that we can do this on a more regular basis. So every week we host hours and hours and hours of pitchathons, really cool stuff. And entrepreneurs that have ideas get a chance to pitch for 5 minutes. So they schedule their 5-minute pitch. Prior to the pitch, we provide you with a complete training on how to deliver an exciting and interesting 5-minute pitch. We also give you a 70-page manual that breaks down the art and the science of the pitch. And then we give you the presentation itself. So you're not wasting time creating a presentation. You can just plug your solution into this presentation. So after that 5-minute pitch, our idea review committee will say yes or no to the next step. We want to say yes. We are a default yes versus the venture capital industry, which is a default no. So you have to convince them to say yes. We are a yes. You have to kind of convince us to say no because you're not prepared. But if we do say yes, that means that we're inviting you to take the next step with us, which is called due diligence. And due diligence is an hour session with our due diligence committee. It'll probably take you anywhere from 4 or 5 hours to prepare for due diligence, because we give you a due diligence manual, and we actually have you go out and start surveying your ideal end user to ensure that you're actually onto something. And then you get data, which is going to be indicative as to whether or not you're actually solving the right problem and is it the right solution to the problem. You then present your results to us, and then we start asking tons of questions in the due diligence session. After due diligence is done, our committee gets together and we debrief, and we make a decision, which is yes or no. If it's no, we tell you why, so that you can learn and either iterate it or just eliminate it and go after another idea. Because what I always tell entrepreneurs is, if we don't say yes, you should not pursue your idea. And the reason I say that is because there's nowhere else in the world you can go to pitch a napkin idea. There's no environment for that. So we are more inclined to say yes than to say no. But if we say no, it's because we really just don't think it's viable, or it's just too difficult. Like, it's going to be too difficult to get there. Find a simpler thing to pursue. But if and when we do say yes, we then end up co-founding a company with that entrepreneur. And within 60 to 90 days, we will launch what we call a minimum viable company, which means that we can onboard users and start generating cash flow with a fanatical focus on achieving product market fit within 90 days, which we define as $10,000 of monthly recurring revenue. It's not a lot of money, but in early stage tech, it's all the money in the world, because once you achieve that milestone, you can raise capital, get strategic alliances, build a board of directors, et cetera. So it's a very linear path. Every entrepreneur travels the exact same path. It's predictable, and that's also why it works. Absolutely.
And I would imagine, the companies that you've already launched, and, I'll go back to Synduit, for those that are thinking, what, I do have an idea, I would like to go through that process. So they feel confident in knowing that you're a man that has done this. I spoke to it a little bit with Synduit. It already supports over 40,000 small business owners. And I would imagine, across the spectrum of different businesses that you have been aligned with, I would imagine that you're probably integrated with, actually, I have it in my notes, over 100,000 small businesses being supported. I would imagine across the spectrum of different platforms that you had your hands on.
We co-founded 150 companies in our first year. We are committed to building, scaling, and selling 10,000 tech companies over the next 10 years. And our secret is we're not going to stop. So this is going to go on for decades and decades and decades, and support hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of entrepreneurs that have these early stage tech ideas that just don't have a home. But in our first year, we did co-found 150, which is way more remarkable than 10,000 in 10 years, because this was our year to figure this thing out. There is no blueprint to doing this. There's no one that's ever done this before. There's no manual to look at. We had to figure it all out in real time. We had to figure out what it meant to build a co-founder journey. What tech stack were we going to use? What were our processes and systems? What was the math around hiring? Like, how many companies can one person handle? How do we scale our team in India? Because we own a company in India since 2017. How do we scale in other countries? How do we scale our go-to-market team? What does it look like to do business development across dozens and now well over 100 companies. How do you fundraise for napkins? How do you fundraise for later stage companies? So the first year of us doing this, to hit 150 companies is legitimately insane, because those were all the things we were figuring out as we were onboarding companies and starting to build them. Now we have a model, we have a path, it's linear. So whenever an entrepreneur joins, it's just a predictable journey they're going to travel. Doesn't guarantee the outcome, obviously. There's a lot of factors that come into play.
Absolutely.
But what we do guarantee is this. We guarantee is 100% transformation with a 40% success rate. And what that means is right now, the industry average in early stage tech for success is 1%. And I would say it's a fraction of 1%, but what's trackable is 1%. So that means 1% of entrepreneurs that have tech ideas will actually succeed. We're going to 4,000x that. So we're going to hit a 40% success rate with a 100% transformation rate, which means that every entrepreneur we says yes to, they will transform in the process. Doesn't mean they're going to have a big exit, but it might mean that we build a really wonderful B2B SaaS platform doing $22,000 a year with $3,000 of overhead every month. Like that means that they're making a couple $100,000 in this SaaS platform, and they don't have to have a big exit for this to become transformational. So what I do know is that everybody that works with us is safe. They're entering a process, and you should never do business with anyone that doesn't have a process. And if you don't have a process in your business, then people shouldn't do business with you. So you have to create processes and systems for scale. We've done that in the space of early stage tech.
Absolutely. Yeah. And you said 150 the first year?
First year, yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible. And that's a lot of legwork. It's a lot of getting those systems down. So, that's absolutely incredible. I'm curious, of the 150, I would be curious to hear some of the ones that you're like really jazzed about.
Really all of them. They serve such different purposes, right?
Fair enough.
We've seen a few thousand to say yes to 150. So they all have an interesting story, but I'll share some of them with you. So one of them is a platform called Blueprinted, which is our friend Mike Searock launched. And what Blueprinted does is it disrupts the personal and professional development industry, because that industry has never been disrupted. It's the same exact industry that it was hundreds and hundreds of years ago as it is today. Right. And if you think about it, what most people do in that industry is they go and they make big investments and they buy different courses and books and they go to seminars, and they are just like drinking out of a fire hose. There's so much information to digest, which is why they don't personally or professionally develop, because they don't even know where to start. But the industry, the cooking industry, has really figured it out, because if you wanted to bake a cake and you had to watch a 60-minute video to bake that cake, you would never be able to bake the cake because you'd miss some step or miss some ingredient, like something wouldn't add up. So what Blueprinted does is it does exactly what the cooking industry does, which provides you with ingredients and steps. And that's what Blueprinted is within the space of personal and professional development. It is a crowdsourced project management software where people that have already achieved success in some domain are able to reverse engineer their success in this platform so that others that want to recreate their outcome, they know the exact steps they went through to go from A to B. So it's a real disruption in the personal and professional development industry. We have a platform called Canceled. Canceled is a rescheduling software for dentists. The number one expense in a dental practice is a missed appointment that does not get rescheduled. This fully automates the process. Dental offices lose up to 10% of their top line revenue every year because of that stat alone. And this completely eliminates it, like literally gives the money back that they're losing. We have a platform called Meerkat Village. Meerkat Village is a platform to support parents who have children with special needs. There's a real mission behind this platform, but it's a wonderful solution as well. Think about it takes a village to raise a child, but it really takes a village to raise a kid with special needs. And that's exactly what this platform does. It's a communication platform to connect all the parties that are trying so hard to ensure that child has what they need. So, but we have 147 plus others. They're all solving very unique problems in this world. Predominantly SaaS, some of them are marketplaces and social media platforms, but they're all limitless scale solutions, either in an industry or even around the world.
Very cool. Yeah, I've seen the Blueprinted platform. The one that you said Canceled, that sounds incredible. I'd be curious to see if you guys end up expanding that into some other verticals, like chiropractors, for instance.
We're expanding into chiropractic and salon. We started in dentistry because the co-founder is a dentist, and we've validated it now. So now we will start diversifying to other industries as well.
Yeah, and that is such a need for sure. Having worked with dentists, that's an area that absolutely happens where they miss that appointment. That's just a block of window that they just missed out of revenue making activity, especially if somebody missed it same day. And I guess it retroactively will get them to come back if they would have missed the appointment.
Yeah, correct. Yeah. So if you think about, like, if you have an appointment next Thursday to see your dentist and you cancel today, like, behind the scenes, what happens? Like, the staff is literally making phone calls to a wait list to try to get somebody else to come in, and no one answers their phone anymore. And they don't have that much time to make phone calls too. So there's a chance that next Thursday comes and there's no one in that seat. And in a dental practice, unlike a chiropractor, the dental seat is really expensive. It's anywhere from $300 to $3,000 in that 30-minute time frame, depending on what the procedure was. Chiropractors have walk-in patients, a little bit different, but dentistry doesn't have that. You don't just walk into a dentist and get a cleaning. You have to have an appointment. So it's a huge economic loss. So what this platform does is it goes and it scans the wait list, and it automatically sends text messages to each patient on that wait list every 5 minutes, and it gives them a chance to grab the spot. And if someone does it, it goes the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one. So we rolled this out in our co-founder's office just to make sure that it worked. And in her first month, she was able to recoup almost $7,000 of revenue that would have been lost otherwise. They would have been missed appointments that did not get rescheduled, and now they all got rescheduled. And then as a result, she didn't lose that revenue.
Wow. So at first I thought this was a technology that would just, automate the follow-up to try to get them rescheduled. The fact that you took it to know if they have a pre-existing wait list, it will pull from that wait list to try to fill that spot. That's incredible. So I can definitely see why you guys saw some promise in that app. And I definitely think, as you guys perfect it and start scaling it out into some of the other verticals of, I will say medical, I could see that being a very powerful thing.
Yeah.
Well, Jared, I know that you're a very busy guy. As we start to round to the end of the episode here, I always like to give each guest an opportunity to kind of share, where they can go to follow you. If they're interested in Synduit or any of the other applications that you brought up, or if they're interested in, Project 10K, they have an idea and they want to try to be the next one to do that virtual pitch. Where should everybody go for these things?
Yeah, notice I have this belief that everybody has an idea. They just don't know where to go with it. And they often, when they look in the mirror, they don't see that person looking back at them as the one that's meant to execute on that idea. What I tell them is this: it's so critical that no one other than you executes on your dream, because we know people that actually think they launched Uber, even though they never launched it because they thought of it first, but somebody else executed on it. So I'm sure you got an idea inside of you. And I want to invite you to pitch it in a very safe environment. Just go to project10k.com/pitch. project10k.com/pitch and schedule your 5-minute pitch. It's a lot of fun. It's your Shark Tank moment. You can literally picture yourself walking down that aisle, and instead of meeting the sharks, you're meeting some really nice people at Project 10K that actually want to say yes. So go through the training we give you. It's free, the training. We give it to you when you sign up for your pitch, and go through it and really come prepared, because that one pitch might change your life forever. So it's project10k.com/pitch. And we can't wait to hear your big idea.
Very cool. And then if anybody wants to try to connect with you on social, kind of follow what you're doing.
Jared Yellin across everything. So JaredYellin. Feel free to connect and ask me any questions too. If you have questions around your idea, send me a message, and I'd love to support you.
Very cool. Well, Jared, again, I appreciate you taking the time on a busy Thursday to come on to the show, drop some nuggets. I really think that that first half for the local to mid-sized companies, some of the automation that they should consider incorporating, I absolutely think every business should be looking at the Synduit platform. I know as soon as I hop off of here, I'm going to the website, because I want to see what it's all about. I want to see, how I can make it work within my own deal. But I love what you're doing with Project 10K. I've been, in the 10X community, you kind of see some of the individuals that are starting to roll out different ideas. And obviously with C-Rock, I know he's very excited and passionate about Blueprinted. Tiporosity, I actually haven't seen, what's going on there, but I have like the general idea of what it is. So that seems like it's going to be a cool project as that gets launched. But again, I appreciate you taking the time. And if you're going to be in the 10X headquarters by chance next at the end of November, I'll be down there. Maybe we can catch a bite or something.
Look forward to it. Yeah, good stuff. Keep doing what you're doing. Thank you so much. And we'll speak to everybody soon.
Yes, sir. Thanks, Jim.
You've been listening to the Lava Hot Podcast with Joseph Connell Jr. Do you want to level up your business in 2022? Then visit us at golavahot.com